Welcome back to the kitchen table. Today on the kitchen table is £16.50. That's near enough everything I've got in my wallet, actually. I've got about £17.20 because I just counted it. Why is it £16.50 just there then? Well, that's the proposed annual charge by the CAA for the UK Drone Registration Scheme. The CAA want to hear from us on whether £16.50 and what they've proposed is good enough for a charge for the registration scheme. Have you got any thoughts about it? I have. And it seems other people have as well. But let me give you my thoughts, and then you can, if you don't agree with them, stick them down there and tell me what I should be thinking, if you want to. So, like it or not, drones have really been left to their own devices up until now. No firm laws until the middle of last year. And some really quite sensible thinking from Baroness Sugg, who sadly has left the role as Minister for Aviation recently. In fact, earlier this month. So the CAA now have to come up with a registration scheme. This scheme being that drone and model aircraft pilots have to have some sort of identification to prove who owns what that flies in the sky. Because let's face it, at the moment, you could clear off out to Maplin, if it still existed, go and buy a drone, and off you go, and cause lots of nuisance, or fly it sensibly. That choice would be yours, the same way we could go and buy a car and drive at the limit, or speed everywhere. That is, as the user, the responsibility for you. So, until the 7th of June, the CAA want to hear from you, dear viewer and pilot, about what they should do for the drone registration scheme. Now, £16.50, which is just there. Now, I am, and I know, really fortunate that my job, the majority of my job, is with UAVs and drones. And I love it. And I realise how lucky I am that I don't work in an office and I don't work in a shop. And I haven't got to face customers all the time because their toilet roll had 270 sheets and it was listed as 280 sheets. I am thankful I do the job I do. I do not mind paying £16.50 to be registered as a drone pilot. That is fine with me. It is my job. I understand hobbyists will moan and go, oh, hang on, it's my hobby, why should I do it? How much do you put into your hobby? How much does the aircraft cost? If you were fishing, you would need a fishing rod licence for your hobby, but you choose to fly, and I bet you've got more than one aircraft flying. Why not pay the £16.50, which I see as a very, very fair figure, get registered and be legal. Now, some people are saying, oh, well, people won't do it. They won't register. They won't be legal. That's fine. So when the coppers knock on the door and go, oh, you've been flying your drone, could I see your registration document or your card, your registration card, the little credit card thing? When they can't produce it, they can seize their stuff. And why shouldn't they? Because everybody else should be paying the £16.50. It's not a king's ransom. The CAA has given a list of things that cost money. As I mentioned, fishing rod licences are between 30 and 82 quid a year. That's a hobby. A driving licence, well, the first provisional licence is 34 quid and a 10-year renewal charge is 14. A passport, £75.50. Now, I hate passports, and the reason I hate them is because if you've got less than 6 months left, you need to get a new one. But hang on, I've paid for that 10-year passport. So in fact, it's only a 9.5-year passport. Shotgun licence, well, you need 80 quid and then a 5-year renewal of £49. Other firearms, this sounds good, you need 88 quid for your grant payment and another charge of £62. I just do not get why everybody's making such a big deal over £16.50. If you were to fly a bigger plane like a light aircraft, you need an initial pilot's licence, which is 161 quid. That isn't 161 quid. Neither do you have to pass a medical. You pay it, you get registered, you're done. If you're a model aircraft flyer, the CAA are proposing that you have a document, a flyer document, to say that you can go and fly. With drones, it's slightly different. They're saying that you have a little sticker. You put a sticker on your drone, and then that means that that is identifiable. So if there's an accident or something happens, instantly, the person who is in charge of the drone is in charge of the drone and it's their responsibility. I don't see the problem. For law-abiding people, I do not see the problem in this scheme. I do not see the problem with people moaning, why should I pay £16.50? Well, sell his stuff. Sell your stuff, get rid of it. Go and buy a fishing rod and become a fisherman. Just because you've got away so long with not having to have a registration scheme and these drones have appeared and now you've got to have one, it's not the drone user's responsibility. It's not your fault. It's what happens. It's too bad. So stop moaning, pay your £16.50 and be done with. Let's face it, it could be a lot worse. We could live in America and have Donald Trump as the person in charge of us in our country. But it's not. We're in the United Kingdom. Bit of politics for you. We'll leave it there. Have your thoughts just down there. There's comments. I'm sure you'll comment back. £16.50. Let's just pay it. Let's propose it. The CAA want you to have feedback. So just there is a link. Go and give them your feedback to what you think. If you think of a better scheme, if you think of another scheme like taxing retailers, getting them to pay the £16.50 or getting them to pay 50 quid, do that. But ultimately, who's going to pay for it? It'll be the customer. It'll be the guy that goes in and buys the drone or the girl that goes in and buys the drone. I don't get it. £16.50, why you're a drone pilot? And let's face it, if you're not earning enough money, you can pay £16.50, then you really shouldn't be flying these things. Because at the end of the day, you can't buy a drone over 250 grams that is less than £16.50. Don't get it. Anyway, comments down there. This is my thoughts. Simon may be along with his thoughts soon, but these are my thoughts. There's my £16.50. I'll pay it. I'll go on the list. Let's go.